Okay, we're here with Ron LaForest, former coach of Trinidad and Tobago.
His name is Ronald LaForest, but football name is Ron LaForest. Started very young in Carnas at the age of 7, and the ability saw me through a lot of things in terms of opening. When I realized that at the age of 14, I played for Carnas United in Savannah, and then Belmont Intermediate coach saw me and he decided to give me a scholarship, which I did take. So from 7 to 14 was a kind of a trial period for me in terms of football. It's something that I always liked. So 14 years come now, and I get a scholarship from Belmont. So went into Belmont from Carnas, country boy kind of thing, you know. And then I met guys like Wayne Lewis and Gregory Trader and Paul Husband. You know, it was a bit different in terms of Carnas versus Belmont people, what people that kind of thing. But what kicked it off is that one day playing for Belmont, I saw myself on paper, you know, and that kicked off the whole thing. You know, I felt so proud being on paper, scoring 2 goals against Fatima. So I said to myself, I said, this is good stuff, you know. Once I score goals, I will make papers, you know. So that's how it started with me, you know. I wanted to see me on the paper, besides the ability and the talent that God has got. So in Belmont now, Wayne Lewis was the guy everybody talk about. And then when I came in, I started to score goals, so they also started to talk about me also. So, you know, so the talk was Wayne Lewis and Ron LaForest, Wayne Lewis, Ron LaForest. I spent 3 years in Belmont, 69 to 71. All right, and
Did you not, your brother was there too, right?
yeah, Lennox was there before me. But in 71, before I finished the exam, the army called for me. So I went and I told my daddy, I said, well, listen, the army interested in me, you know. When my daddy ran with that, he said, hey, this is a job.
Yeah.
Right, so 71, and he decided to go in the army. First batch in 72, which was about April. All right, so I left school and I went straight in the army. That same year too, Wayne Lewis left school and he went in the police. So it was a rivalry between army and police in those days.
Okay.
Wayne Lewis versus Ron LaForest. And all of it started to stem and it started to turn me on in terms of football with all this excitement, all this publicity and stuff like that. I started to feel better about myself, so what? So I made a name in army because seeing myself on papers in Belmont, I always wanted to see myself on papers. So the goal scoring thing become natural with me because I will see myself on paper.
All right.
All right. So,
that's the goal.
Right. So in the army now, I met Kenny Joseph. He used to call him the train, you know, from Civic Center. And when I met Kenny Joseph in the army, he was the man, Kenny Joseph. So my first game, it was against police, fortunately, against Wayne Lewis. So the coach started me because Wayne Lewis was on the other side. So the whole nation wanted to see that kind of rivalry, kind of thing. Yeah, fortunately enough, you know, the army was successful that night. I was in a
and plus you guys were successful at Belmont too.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Wayne and I were successful in Belmont, and then we leave school and join different forces. So that particular game, that night, I think we beat them 2-1. You know, we beat police 2-1 that night. And fortunately enough, I scored, Wayne Lewis didn't score. So that kicked it off more yet in terms of, hey boy, the Wayne Lewis Ron LaForest syndrome, hey, Ron LaForest kicked it off. All right, so I stayed in the army for 6 years, 72 to 77.
You did come to Canada with the
yes, in
tournament?
Army 75, we came to Canada, 75 the Army. Got some Irish tournament.
Yes, the Irish tournament.
Yeah, we came to that. I can't remember what we did in that.
Always do well.
Yeah, but the thing was, you know, I was happy to travel to the sports and whatnot. So the 6 years that I spent in the Army, I was top goal scorer for the first 4 years, you know. And the same Kenny Joseph was the so-called superstar. He was second to me in terms of goal scoring.
Okay.
All right. So after the Army, the 6 years Army, I told the brigadier, I said, so I would like to leave the job to go and play professional in the States. I met Steve Davis. Right? Steve Davis was in police.
Oh, that's the link.
Yeah. So after talking to Steve Davis, he said, well, you know, he lives in LA and whatnot and whatnot and whatnot. So I decided to go to to the States and take a look, first to see how it is. So we went up in the States for 21 days. That's Granville and myself. Hey, we stay by
The Granville, is that the Granville from Tobago?
No, that's his brother.
Oh, okay.
So listen to this now. So we stayed by Steve David for 21 days. Alright? I was fortunate enough to see George Best and them train at Steve David and a guy they call Bobby McAllister. But Steve brought me around.
The George Best?
The George Best.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Steve brought me around the session and so I shake my head once or twice. So one day, he asked if I could train with the Los Angeles Aztecs. And the coach said, well, why not, you know? And I decided to train with them. And every time I train with them, every game we play, I score. So they was interested in me coming back up. We had overstayed our time in Los Angeles. So, you know, in Army now, you had to come back and report to the Army now, you know? So when we came back now, it was a big thing in terms of everybody saying, guys, lock up. I overstay your time. But I didn't care because I know I want to go play professional football outside. Right. So I went to the brigadier and I asked him, I said, sir, permission, I would like to leave the job. He said, why? I said, well, I want to go play professional football. He said, this is what you want? I said, yes, sir. I want to play professional football outside. Steve David hooked him up with a contract and whatever. All right, and he said, all right, is that what you want? Permission Granville. So myself and Granville, we leave the job and head straight to the States. All right? Fortunately, nobody gone to the States now. Steve David, he playing, when the league started, he played with Los Angeles Aztecs. All right? I couldn't play because I had to wait on a green card.
Yeah.
Them times, you know,
work permit. Yeah.
I work permit kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right. So I keep waiting. They keep throwing it off. So D. George Best now, I'm morning at Trinity. And then he said, Steve, why you don't hook up your mate? You know, Steve said he's trying, you know. But I come and I get injured in one of these sessions with them. And I broke a heel and fracture in my foot.
Wow.
So that set my back, you know, as a youth. Like a bit of that set my back. So I said, oh, what next? So Steve decided to nurture me.
Yeah.
You know. Granville went and trained with the lower team. It was the ASL or something. Yeah. And he made the ASL. So I have to be looking at Granville and I'm catching my foot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the both of us went up to play with Steve David.
Okay.
Alright. So Granville decided we get in our apartment.
But that was the NASL then?
NSL.
Well,
right?
Steve made a name in NASL.
Yeah, so Granville decided to get an apartment. Right? Because you know we are staying by Steve, like, these big men.
Yeah,
you know?
So you get your own place.
Yeah, Granville started work, so Granville said, hey, you get an apartment. So Granville and I started bunk up together. Alright, Granville played the whole season, but as I said, unfortunately, I couldn't play the season because of the injury. Alright, that year come and pass, the injury come and heal and stuff like that. Alright, this guy from Trinidad, they call Fox. He was a money man.
Yeah, no, Fox.
Fox come and he said he wanted to open a Caribbean team. So he sent for Granville and myself, you know. So we came down, we did negotiation with him. Alright, the money was good. Alright? Heritage are not playing in the NSL. You know?
Yeah.
I don't want to look at football, I want to play.
Is that the infamous ASL team?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, so I came back with Fox to form the Caribbean team with Edward Cummins, some guys from Jamaica, Steve David came back, Tony Douglas, all the big names of football and came back and formed the Caribbean team. We toured all over the Caribbean. It was very successful. You know, Gary was the captain, so-called coach on that team. You know, very successful again. Alright? After that lasted about what? A year? Alright, and after that after that stint with the Caribbean team, a guy they called Arthur Sweet decided to open a professional team here. So he came to us and asked us if, you know, we like to just start it in terms of, you know, being the senior professionals in Trinidad. So we decided to stay. Again, the money was good, you know. So we decided to stay with Arthur Sweet here to form the ASL, the professional here. So he made me captain. And we decided to take the best of the players in the country. You know, so we went to the Stuart Charles, we went to the Samuel, we went to the US Fan, it's the name of it. And that's how the ESL formed. Alright, having said that, alright, after that the ESL formed, we was in the 3rd division, in the North Zone. He said, how could we get to play against the big teams in Trinidad? Alright, and that's when we started the Big Four. That's how the Big Four started. Because you have the top players, alright, so you want to play against the Army, the Marble and all the big names.
Makes sense.
There's only one way to play against them. So he created Big Four, like Arthur Sweet, and I give him kudos for that. So the Big Four started, and then we were successful. We won the Big Four, you know, because you know we have all the big names and what's so the football started revamping PSC.
Yeah, I remember I came and trained with you guys.
Right. All right. So after that, I played in the ASL for what? That was 82, 83, 84. About 4 years I played with the ASL. But after she bought on a Brazilian coach, Santa Rosa. All right. After Santa Rosa contract finished, he left. But I don't know where Santa Rosa went. All right. So I continue. I continue home. Hey. One day I received a phone call from Santa Rosa. Hey, Ron, what's going on? I said, I'm all right, Santa. He said, I'm in Hong Kong. I said, Hong Kong? What are you doing in Hong Kong? He said, I'm coaching. You want to come to Hong Kong? You know that is cool to me. I said, of course, Santa.
More people.
Yeah. I said, Santa, I want to come home. He said, Ron, okay, next week. I tried to talk like him. Hey, next week, I send ticket for you. You go to Sunzo Airlines, and you get ticket, and then you come to Hong Kong. Well, boy, you make it into something I always wanted. All right, I just packed my bag and I went and collected my ticket downtown for the Spain. And I look at it, time to travel. All right, the flight took me from here to New York. Took me about 4 hours, 20 minutes overnight, and then I take the next plane from New York to San Francisco. All right, there's another 4 hours, and then San Francisco to Hong Kong. That was 14 hours and 20 minutes. I registered everything inside. Almost like a whole day flight, you know?
Yeah.
All right. But when I went on this plane, it was so ironic. When I look around, I see all these black posts on the plane. Everybody is Chinese, everywhere. But I want to see Hong Kong because I never see Hong Kong. All right. Up to now, if I tell you I sleep on that plane, I'll be like, me and close my eyes. You understand? That 14 hours and 20 minutes, I just looking all over the sky. I can tell you the color of the different sky, and the hour in different sky. I can tell you that. No sleep. All right. So the flight arrived in Hong Kong, and then Santa and his wife, and then they came and they picked me up. All right, and then they took me to the hotel. We stayed in Kalu. That was the town of Hong Kong, one of the main cities. All right. All right. I stayed in Hong Kong with Santa for 6 months. The reason being, I started training with him. All right. One morning, I took the train to go and train. The train is underground. So everybody looking at me, everybody looking at me. So the Chinese already take you on it. So yeah, I find it strange, everybody looking at me. So I just minded my own business, keep my head straight and all that. And I go on a train and drop out and I go to the training session. But if you see cameras around, right? But I don't know cameras in terms of, I don't know what I'm doing. Cameras. All right, so I meet the team, and then there's just the team. That year it had Neto who played the 70th World Cup for Brazil. He was on that team, and a fellow called Alianjo. He played for Argentina. All right, as a youth, he played for the youth team. But he played on the same team that Santa called me for. And then they had a tall Englishman. What they call him?
In Hong Kong, now you're training with the team. You had some of the marquee players there. In terms of your debut with the team.
Yeah, I remember this tall guy. What they call him? Some Kelshore was his name. This tall English guy. All right. He was the big centre forward on that team. Eastern Atlantic was the name of the team. And when I reached, Santa really wanted me to replace him because my skills was different.
You were aware of that already?
Yeah, I aware of that because was my Hindi centre forward and I was centre forward. Right? So Santa will take me from Trinidad to bring me to Hong Kong to sit on a bench, So when we started training, the same guy Neto, right, the Brazilian, Neto will pass to the Argentinian, Neto will shy away from me, So the first session I noticed that. So I asked Santa the next day, I said, so Santa, why Neto don't want to pass the ball for me? Hey boy, only to discover. When I go back to the hotel now, the guy who was seeing about my dinner, he said, hey, Trini. And then he brings this newspaper for me. And then he's showing me all the papers, right? Because I don't know if it's in all over the Hong Kong papers, right? So when the man showed me iron the papers in Hong Kong, remember tell the only part of my story, once iron papers, I just go crazy.
Yeah.
Right. So when the first practice game we played, Neto shine away from me with the ball. Neto black and I black. I tell Santa, it's kind of strange why Neto don't want to pass to me. long and short story, because Neto was jealous of me, because he find again too much playing field. Ironic, a guy who played World Cup, 1978, Neto, played the wing back for them, right? A little guy from Trinidad, which was me, right? Neto jealous of me. So that's when I pinch myself and I say, oh, what talent here is world-class talent. Trinidad and Tobago are world-class talent here, because he played World Cup, I didn't play World Cup, but you jealous of me. Not supposed to be. You follow me? So I pinch myself again, alright? And I will take it all over the world, especially in Trinidad and Tobago here. Or what talent is world class here.
Okay, okay. So did you play for the team? Because when I was coming back, I noticed, I mean, you had the big round on the car, and I know you were outside playing pro. So that was the team you were playing for?
Of course, because...
so how long you stayed with them?
Right. You stayed for about 8 months and I stayed with them inside.
And it was lucrative, it was paying well? And
in terms of, in them times, the money wasn't bad, you know.
So how did that subside?
Right. This went by, the Chinese players, one day the owner, he's a very young player, the owner, he take a while to pay them, you know, they didn't get the salary on time. And they make a big thing. They went to papers and what. So the Chinese, the owner, his daddy, tell him, you can't do that. But he has so much money. He all in Malaysia, all about traveling. You follow me? So it was a bit embarrassing for the daddy to know that he owed money because they're making clothes. All kinds of different things they're doing. You know, his money, people, he have horses, he felt rich. Right? So they embarrassed the family, so he decided to close down the team after that when the father spoke.
Okay. Since you're back, we'll talk about your national situation now as a player and as a coach. I understand that you were coach with the under-20?
I was in 3 categories.
Okay.
At one time I was under 17 coach. At one time I was under 20 coach. At one time I was under 23 coach. And then my final stint was the senior team who went to the World Cup as assistant coach.
Okay, what do you think about Trinidad football as it is now? They just qualified for the Gold Cup. What do you think about Trinidad and Tobago football senior men's team now?
Correct. The Stephen Hart gentleman, he have something going for him. You know, football is like you towards a girl that you like, you know, and then how she reacts to you, then you will be able to make a move. What I've seen here with Stephen Hart is that the players responding to him. So that is a plus here. You know, because local players, they tend to take coaches for granted here. You know? I would say me, because I want to talk cookies when I'm coaching. Players can't take me for granted. Why? Because I play at the highest level. And as I always mention to them, I think my name is bigger than yours, whosoever you are, in terms of football. So I always gain that kind of respect from them. You know? But kudos to Stephen Hart, you know, he's doing a tremendous job for us.
Okay, what about the, I understand that what's the gentleman who used to be with Joe Public is the coach of the under-20 team. How's the under-20? Because you have to have a pecking order which you have the under-17, under-20, maybe the under-23, and then, so how is the youth program from the under-17 going up?
Well,
is it John?
No, Derek King.
King.
That's going good too. Reason being because King working with Stephen Hart. So it's easy to do the job.
So you have continuity then?
Yeah, that continuity there.
Okay, and the under-17, who's the coach of the under-17?
We have this guy they call, what's his name? He's from South. What's his name? I can't recall his name.
Sean Cooper. Sean Cooper.
Yeah, you know, I ain't see the continuity with the under-17 because Sean Cooper doing his own thing down there right now.
Okay.
You know, so it's have a break in the gap. The under-20s
and here, you know, today I'm finding out now that these girls, I mean, it made papers all over the world about being stranded in the States and stuff. Is there a lower women's program under 17, under 20? Because these girls, I remember covering them with the under 17, some of them with the under 17 woke up here in 2010. And I remember covering this Maria Shade girl with the secondary school and also the under 20. She was the under 20 captain. So how is that program going as far as you know?
This program, I'm not enjoying that program at all. The reason for saying that is because we don't see it. We don't see the women's league. You don't see the level where they're at right now. The only reason why we see this level is because the majority of the players play outside. That continuity is not here. So I'll have to work on it.
So then, so this big effort and this almost being there in terms of were you at the game Trinidad and Tobago versus Ecuador women's game yesterday?
Yeah, of course I was. Yeah,
okay, what you thought of what's your what you thought about the game?
What I saw, I saw a lot of anxiety. You know, from the warm-up stage, there was anxious. There was too anxious. Even when they warm up too heavy in terms of whereby the Ecuadorians, they were cool doing the different drills. And when I was in Trinidad, they keep beating the ground, they keep stamping. Everything is 100 miles per hour. So I think this was a learning experience for them in terms of, hey, it's a level they're at where you've never been before. So it's something that we'll have to try and maintain with them, whereby they're playing in front thousands of people, so they can have the atmosphere whereby they can be more relaxing. Well, again, as everybody sees, there was a game whereby where both win matches. I think they played well in terms of creating chances, but something was missing in the game at one point in time, whereby the normal Trinidad and Tobago mentality in terms of they wasn't seeing the killing instinct for 90 minutes. They wasn't seeing that. They were seeing it in spurts. So that's one of the only downfalls I felt with the team yesterday. That killing instinct was missing right through the 90-minute game. But I haven't said so. All right, I give kudos to the girls because they really work their butt off. They put in some good work. They create some good chances, but unfortunately, goals win matches. They didn't score no goals, and they pay the consequences.
Is there something that maybe the public need to know that
It's difficult. It's difficult because of who we are. Our people is what we call a sort of a fed-going kind of people. We like to fed, we like to party and whatnot and whatnot. But support, we're not supporters for the game. Because take for instance, like last night, where I was sitting, you have a guy behind the back. Like it's the first time he come football. A ball hit the crossbar, and he jumping up and ball. Of course. Goal, and all this kind of thing. So, we have people there that they have no about football. So that's one of the downfalls of our people here.
So they need to know the game. So people just coming out.
They just coming out because they get tickets, and the company gives them tickets, but the majority of the supporters are not really supporters. The class that came out of that game last time with the girls and everything. Young people, as the captain rightly said on the TV this morning, young people they'll be motivated by what happened here last night. So I think for the next couple of years, with the right people in hand, the right sort of money taking place with the youths and whatnot, I think we should see a level of increase in terms of where we want to go for the next 4 years. That was a motivator for them, the youngsters coming up.
So what are you doing right now in terms of coaching, or what are you doing right now?
I run my program for the last 18, 19 years.
And what program is that? Okay.
And I also run a program for Atlantic for kids at risk, like those guys, who mother, father, I've been running that for the last 3 years with them also. So, in a nutshell, I'm in my corner, giving back still, although it's not at the highest level, but at the same time, taking care of some younger lives.
Any aspirations of getting back into the main program again?
Of course, I mean...
If called?
Of course, I mean, God give you talent, God give you knowledge, why not, It's something that, me as a person, I know I am national oriented, I love
it can happen, no? Okay.
Yeah, this can happen, This can happen anytime.
Alright.
Once the names keep ringing, because the name always keep calling. As you rightly know, we grew up together. The name remains a household name, So once you're talking football and coaching, at some point in time, my name will come.
All right. Okay, Ron, thanks for the time and thanks for the interview.